Okay, now let's perform this t-test step by step. So here is how we can perform this analysis. So step 1, split the data set into two groups, churned customers and non-churned customers. So let's do that first. Let me get the data set and then let me begin that step. Let me group them into two. Okay. So import. Okay, let me put independent t test. Independent t test. Yeah, independent sample t test. Okay, so let's quickly import numpy as np from scipy, and I want to import stats because from where I want to bring the independent t test. And so let's generate data. Let's generate the data. So np dot random dot, I'm using a seed, so I'm sowing a seed so that every time I can get a same type of whenever it generates a data, it's gonna generate the same sample again and again. So for that I just sowed the seed. So now let's say monthly charges for churned customer, because we have two churned customers. So basically sample 1 or group 1, let's say as a group 1, it's better way to put group 1. So churned charges is equal to np dot random dot normal. Let me go from 70 to 10 to 100. And next second group is monthly charges for non-churned customers. Group 2, non sorry no non-churned customers, np dot random dot normal dot, it's 60 to 80, 60 to 80, and it's 150. So that's it. Our churn charges and non-churned charges, both groups are ready. Yeah, this is what is our data set. Okay, churned and non-churned. Clear? Okay, just a minute. Yeah, and this is what is our churned group and non-churned group. So this is churned, and from here it's non-churned. Okay, clear? Let's get back to the slide. So now that's our step 1. Now let's move on to the step 2. So now step 2 is to calculate the mean monthly charges for both groups, because we have to find a difference in later stage. So let me do that now. Let me calculate the mean. So churned dot mean 70.5980, and non-churned dot again mean, it's 60.1047. Okay, that's done. Let's move on to the next step. Step 3. Now it's time to formulate the hypothesis, because the initial prepping up is done. So formulating hypothesis null hypothesis, there is no difference in the mean monthly charges between the churned and non-churned customers, whereas alternate hypothesis says there is a significant difference. So now we have to calculate the standard deviation of the monthly charges for both groups. So as we have calculated mean, let's calculated standard deviation. So 18, it's a 10.07, and non-churned non-churn charges, again it's 7.907. So this step is also done. This is pure manual step. So now it's time to perform the t-test using the t formula. So we have calculated the means of both. Let me get back to this. So here, so group difference, let me say group mean diff is equal to, let me say this one as x1 and this as x2. So x1 minus x2, and this is our, okay, we have to print, yeah. So group mean difference is this 10.49. okay, so whereas null hypothesis says h0, which says group mean difference is 0. okay, so this is mu1 minus mu2 is 0, and x1 minus x2, what we got is 10.49, and which should be divided by square root of standard deviation. We have s1 s2 there. Let me get back and I'll show you here. So this is our s1 and this is our s2, and n1 n2, you can get it, n1 length of this, and n2 non-churned, and you'll get it. So n1 n2, everything is ready. Now it's straightforward. Put it in the formula, you'll get the t statistic. That's one way. And another way of doing is directly use a formula from the, directly use a method from stats, okay. So from stats, I'm using the t test underscore independent method, and let's make our lives easy because we have software that I have explained so that you can understand how exactly it works. So let's perform the t-test using the library. Okay, so t statistic and p-value, both we can calculate at one go. So stats dot t test underscore independent method. So t-test underscore independent method. In this, we have to give the respective groups. One is churned, other one is non-churned, and that's it. There is an issue. Where was it? Okay, cannot assign. Okay, t's p-value. Oh, sorry. Okay, so that's it. We have performed the test. Now let's move ahead and see. So t-test t has been calculated, and now let's calculate the degrees of freedom for the t-test based on the sample sizes, so that we can, if it is manual step, here, let's calculate the degrees of freedom for the t-test based on sample sizes. It's n1 plus n2 minus 2. And then if you know degrees of freedom and you know the t statistic, now you can get the p-value. Okay, once you get the p-value, if the p-value is less than the predetermined significance level, we can reject the null hypothesis and conclude that there is a statistically significant difference in the mean monthly charges between the churned and non-churned customer. But when it comes to ours, we have done that t statistics and p-value in one go. degrees of freedom was also calculated by the software. So that's why we don't need to worry. Or else you have to calculate degrees of freedom and you have to take up the t statistic and degrees of freedom and go to the t table, and there you have to get the p value. But that's all done by the software for us, not to worry. So now let's execute the final step here. The final step is, let's take let's take the level of significance, level of significance as 5 percentage. Now, so significant level is equal to 0.05. So if p value is less than 0.05, which is nothing but the significant level, we'll print the will print the charge monthly charges variable, that's the target variable. Monthly charges, that's a target variable, is statistically is statistically significant in predicting the churn. Okay, target variable is statistically significant. Statistically significant. The monthly charges target variable is the relation of monthly charges target variable and predictor group. Predictor variable, predictor is statistically significant, else it's not. And it's not. So here what I'm going to do, I'm going to add one more. So we reject the null hypothesis, and here we fail to reject the null hypothesis. And execute, and we got it. We reject the null hypothesis, and hence we say the relation monthly charges target variable and predictor is statistically significant, hence proved. And this is how uh, we use this method to independent sample t-test to find out the statistical significance of the relationship between the continuous variable and a binary variable, or two categories categorical variable. Okay, so now let's move on and let's try to